Oh.
Oh, stupid am I?
Oh, Zelda, are you?
Yeah, so Lord Jabu Jabu, I think, is like the Zora's like kind of god, I guess, is what they kind of worship him as. He's a great spirit. Okay.
So Zelda's last game that we played.
Uh-huh.
The one where we
Tears of the
really-
Kingdom.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there was the half fish people.
Yeah, those are Zoras.
Those were Zoras.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. But these are not.
No,
Zoras.
these are Hilayans. Anything that's human is usually a Hilayan.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, so they usually... Oh, yes.
Thor's
Stamps.
hammer.
Remember, we got Stampy stamps.
Cool.
I want I'm going to walk over your fish.
Uh-huh.
And then I'm going to throw this at you.
Hey,
Have a spider.
infest this place with spiders.
Is he coming home? I have no desire to talk to you, lady. Okay. Welcome. Is there anything I can help you with? I would like to sell. I would not like to sell.
Nope.
No, thank you.
Boring fish.
Boring fish time. Don't care. Don't care. Okay.
Right.
Off we go this way.
Walking. More. Oh, Thor's handle.
Not everything is Thor. Why? Everything.
Why?
You think everything is Thor?
Yeah, I like Thor.
You are obsessed.
I am.
I am ish.
Yeah.
Is he your favorite of all the Avengers? He's also usually quite the dumbest of all the Avengers.
No.
Like getting hit by a car. That annoyed me to no end. That they just like she hits it because they don't know he's a god, right? Not yet. And they just like play it off. They just play it off like, oh my god. And what does she say? She's like, oh, I should really stop doing that. You hit someone with your car.
Right.
You probably murdered him. And
if it was anyone but Thor,
yeah,
the dude's
he'd be
dead. Like Thor or Captain America. You know, like, sure. Take your chances, lady.
I know. And it's just like, it was so annoying to me.
Yeah.
It's like, what? Like, how am I
never thought of
supposed to
that.
actually, like, take this? Like, what? Like, oh, this is just dumb that you, like to kill people? Like, what?
Like, you're just
Like, what are we
as
doing?
a joke?
Yeah, what are we doing here?
Strange.
And look, I don't hate Thor. I like Thor too, but especially the third movie I thought was really good.
Yeah.
You know, but they do him dirty all the time.
Yeah.
All the time they do him dirty. And I refuse. I will hate watch the Love and Thunder with you.
Oh,
but I've seen enough clips to be like, you know what? This is stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I have a much different perspective on Endgame, Thor. I loved his storyline, Endgame.
Yeah, I didn't hate the storyline. I hated that they made him fat.
Really?
That annoys the crap out of me because it's like, one, he's a god.
Okay.
So you're telling me lightning, like he tells us, lightning runs through his veins, but human earth food is supposed to make him fat? That's really stupid.
Yeah.
Two, I would have been fine with him being down on his luck, all the thing. I feel like they made him fat because it's Chris Hemsworth, right? Yeah, so now this is what the Zoras look like in this version. Way different.
Yeah.
Way different.
I can see that.
I would have been fine with him being like, maybe he like drinks all the time, right? And he's just like, out of it. But like the fat part, like I feel like they did it because Chris Hemsworth is a sex symbol, and so like they didn't want they constantly, who's the punching bag of the MCU? Thor. They constantly want to make him look stupid and make him not like, they wouldn't do that to Captain America. They wouldn't do that to Spider-Man. They wouldn't do that to Iron Man. Iron Man is always going to be like cool and like always out of the top. They did it to the two characters that are supposedly the strongest in the whole MCU, which is Thor and Hulk. And they made them idiots. They literally like destroyed who they were as a like people. And but I like his redemption though. That's cool. I like that. I like all of that. But like I feel like they did the fat thing to like be subversive, and it's like you don't need to subvert your characters. He already is so lost because he failed. And you can just do that in so many different ways.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but I liked it. It felt more humanizing to me because there are situations where your only solace is food. And so like for me, I just when I started to get really big, I was so concentrated on helping my family kind of just survive, and stopped caring about my body.
Right.
And so it was really like, yeah, I could see that happening, that you fail that much and it's like an addiction. It's addictive. And I thought they did a pretty good job at showing that of the 6 stages of grief, like some were in denial, like Black Widow, and some were in acceptance,
I agree.
like Captain America.
Yeah, I think all of
Iron
that
Man.
is really good. I just don't think they should have made him fat. I think the fat thing is just, I think it's a cheap joke is what I think it is. And at least how fat they made him was also just like, it just felt like a cheap joke. And honestly, I don't envision him, because I agree, because like the same thing happened to me. So it's not like I necessarily like disagree with what you're saying that way. But it's not, I wouldn't say it's like super realistic though, that like Thor would have done what he did. Like I don't think he would have become that. Like in my imagination, I just don't. I feel like how did I do that? I killed him apparently.
I know.
Just by grabbing him. Okay. Now I have bombs?
A bomb fish.
Bomb fish.
Huh.
Danger, do not proceed. But yeah, I think that like, I don't know. It seems super cheap to me. That's all it is. It just seems super, super, super cheap. And it doesn't seem to fit. No, and like, I think it would have been fine maybe to do that with a character, but not like one of the main characters in like the story to turn him into that. That's what it's just like, this doesn't, like I said, it's just why do they could have made Thor. Well, Thor could have been one of the coolest characters. They made him a joke. And the only good movie of Thor's is the third one.
Yeah.
And they like screwed up. They screwed up every other movie that they had with him. And it could have been, he could have had the best movies. Oh, okay. And here, good.
Oh no! How about you aim it? How about you grab it? Oh, never mind. Did it?
We did it, Tyler.
Yeah. See, and I was like, I could see they're like, yes, when you have that traumatic of an experience, you're like, I don't care about my body anymore.
Well, I think it would just have been better the drinking way.
Yeah.
Like that just makes more sense to me. The getting fat like that is like, it's just, I feel like it's cheap. There are other like, but I agree with you as far as like, they still should have made him like super like despondent. They should have made him like that. I think was really good.
Right.
But it's just, again, what they did and how they did it was like, well, you're just making him a joke. And you're doing it on purpose because it's the antithesis of Chris Hemsworth. Like, it's not, they wanted him to be fat because Chris Hemsworth himself is not. That's what I think. I think it was just like, and the reason I also believe that too is because of all the other ways that they did things like that with characters. Like they wanted to subvert all the male characters to be a certain way, right? And so in doing that, that was what's the best way to subvert Chris Hemsworth? His body. Sure. And it's just like a cheap like knockoff trick. Like it didn't, like I don't think that would have happened. I don't think Thor would have drank himself to death. That would have made more sense to me.
But see, in the comics, it was usually Iron Man with a drinking problem.
Well, yeah, they would both have drinking problems, I guess.
Right.
But because their drinking problems are, I guess, different. And that's fair enough. Maybe they like, well, we want to do different things for each character, but it's like they didn't make Iron Man into a drunk. He had a good life.
Yeah.
You know, and that's literally the whole point is that, what am I looking for? I'm looking for the
yeah. And I mean,
that he had a good life and he made the ultimate sacrifice when he could have just left everything well enough alone. And that's, oh my gosh, that's literally what's so sad about it is that he, okay.
No idea.
How am I supposed to do this? Was this really all this was to get a treasure that I can't get? But yeah, I mean, that was the whole point, right? That like, he was the one that was like, no, it's too much. I can't risk it, what I have. And he's the only one that dies. And that's why it's so like,
yeah,
heart-wrenching because it's like, yeah, who's the only one that actually lost? Well, Iron Man. Iron Man lost everything when he was the one that deserved probably to lose nothing. Right?
Yeah.
Like he was the only one that deserved to live.
He was the only one that was like, I understand why you wouldn't want to do this. Like,
right.
That if there was anyone that should have lived, but he was the only one that couldn't.
Right. Right. And that's why, you know, and then Doctor Strange, like, obviously was like, I can't tell you, you know, I can't tell you or it never will happen.
Right. But I don't know. I didn't mind it. I thought that they were like, it was a shock and a different angle. That I think they took a risk by doing the whole fat thing with Thor.
Yeah. Definitely a risk.
But I liked how he didn't just like, okay, I'm getting back in the fight and do a montage of him just
because that also
getting back.
That also would have been stupid too.
But it was like it took his mom to, and
well, and see, and that's
it
what
took
I'm
his mom.
That's what I'm saying is like food, because I get it. Like I'm fat too, and have gone through that same process, but food is not like it doesn't make sense for his character. It doesn't make sense for like how, like, again, because it was all a cheap joke. Like it all was like, okay, like you're now fat and you're not supposed to be fat. And where like they could have just done a lot of different things to like portray that. Because then you're right. All the other stuff about it is good. Like the mom thing that he is like, because obviously we know why he's fat, because he's so depressed and like he's going through all the grief and and he doesn't want to talk about it anymore. I think the idea of him being fat is the joke it's cheap. And they could have made the fat joke with someone else that was a minor character. Because it's like they could have done the same thing with Black Widow and made her fat. Why not? Well, it's like, well, because of course they're never going to make her fat. Yeah, of course not.
No one
of
would
course
want
they
to come
wouldn't ever do that
to the movie, yeah.
Right?
But when you have, when you have all of the Avengers, and you can afford to make Thor fat.
Well, and that's what I mean is they're making him fat because it's Chris Hemsworth though too. Right. Because Chris Hemsworth, of all the characters, who's the one who is most known for his body?
Yeah.
Him. If Thor would have been played by a different actor, I don't think they would have done the fat thing. I think it was really a subversion that was like super meta too. Yeah.
Because it's like Chris Hemsworth will never.
Right.
And
exactly.
Hasn't ever been like that.
Exactly. Even a fat Thor or a fat Hulk, I think, would have been a better choice. Like, make the actual Hulk fat. And, like, that actually could have led to, like, a lot of different avenues that actually, because he would have been more like, you know how, like, the strongest men are, like, they're big. Like, they're big everywhere, even their stomach. That would have been cool, I thought. But they made, and because the way they made him fat too was just like this beer gut, and then it was, again, they were literally doing it to make him less desirable than he always has been, because it's Chris Hemsworth. Like I like everything else about it. I think his arc is really important to like all of that, but how they did it is just a miss. Just like everything else they do was a miss. Like it was a miss when after Endgame and after they supposedly were trying to make Captain Marvel like the thing. And it's like, that was never going to work. Well, he's never going to work. You already had your characters. Like if you wanted it to be a female that was like the most important, make it Black Widow.
Yeah.
And people would have loved it.
Yeah.
No one would have had an issue with that. Oh. And she made an ultimate sacrifice too.
Yeah.
Which doesn't, in my opinion, I like the fight. I like, when they get that stone, right? But it obviously doesn't make sense that he would sacrifice himself. Of course that doesn't make any sense. Of the two, right? The two of them that could die to get the stone. Of course it's not going to be him. He has a family and kids.
Right.
Of course. And so that was kind of like, I mean, I know why they did it, but it's like, well, of course you're not the one that's going to die. Like, it was kind of obvious, in my opinion, like who was ultimately going to be the one that ends up at the bottom of that, cliff. And I hate the fact that they didn't do the Hulk and Black Widow romance a little bit more. Like, I thought that would have been cool.
Yeah.
And they I don't know, man. They made Hulk into an idiot too. They stripped him away of everything that made Hulk the Hulk. And so even in Endgame, they had already begun this process of making everything kind of dumb, kind of stupid. And it's going to be interesting how they do this Doctor Doom thing. Because don't you think it's just going to be Tony Stark as Doom? right? Isn't that what it's going to be? It's not. It's just going to be an alternate universe Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's not going to be like the other kinds of Doctor Dooms that we're used to.
Or are they going to all of a sudden make Doctor Doom knew all along that he was Iron Man, or something, where they have to tie it together. They have to do something. They can't just act like this is a new person playing Doctor Doom.
Yeah.
Like they can't just say
the only
this is
other
Doctor
way,
Doom now. He never has, or there is no correlation between this Doctor Doom and Iron Man.
Because are we just supposed to believe it's just someone who looks just like Tony Stark but isn't Tony Stark?
Right.
In a different universe, right?
Right.
The only other way I can see this, and I don't think it would be good if they did it this way. I think it would be too hard to pull off. Is maybe Tony really isn't dead. So or someone collects his body, right? Someone got his body, and then they somehow resurrect him, and then in that resurrecting, he turns into Doctor Doom. That's the only other way I can fathom it.
Yeah. And
I'm interested. So they did their job. I'm interested in it. I want it to be good.
They have to get some sort of interest some way. And it does seem very bankrupt of ideas. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. Well, it's because they just run out. It's just they did a great job with what they had, and then it should have been done. And everything else that they wanted to do, because they obviously want to continue making money, which is fine. But they don't they could have just gone into something else, do a different, make the X-Men. Right. Make a really, really good X-Men.
Yeah. Start a new franchise with X-Men and Deadpool. You can live off 10 years with that.
Right.
With all the X-Men and Deadpool. You have Ryan Reynolds.
Right.
Just do that.
Expand the Spider-Verse.
Right.
Make good. And they kind of did do that with the Miles Morales animated ones, and they're not bad.
Huh?
But just keep going on with that.
Yeah. But man, it's interesting, the whole Robert Downey Jr., but it didn't break the internet. You know what I mean? There have been bigger events that is oh yeah, who cares? You have to explain yourself. Other than
it's just
we don't have any other ideas other than we know Robert Downey Jr. saved us the last time.
Right.
And the only way we have
the
only movies that made a ton of money had Robert Downey Jr. in it. It's he was Iron Man.
Right. Well, I honestly think that what they should do is redeem Captain Marvel. I literally think that they should sit Brie Larson down and be like, look, you made mistakes. We made mistakes. Whatever you think of the fans, they're the ones that dictate where their money goes and what they think is good or not.
Right.
Let's have a redemption arc and actually make Captain Marvel a relatable, good character. And then Captain Marvel can be a part of making some kind of I don't know if Avengers, but some other thing that brings together other heroes that maybe are not as well known. And then you go from there.
Yeah. Off the top of my head, redemption arc for Brie Larson. I would love that. Brie Larson is a good actress. She's very pretty. She's fun. She's pretty to watch, and she could be very relatable.
Well, and the thing is when her first thing Community, when she was she was she was super relatable when she was in the Community show.
Yeah,
and it was just do that,
right?
And do that again. Do something where she like actually makes it like super like enjoyable to have her as the main focus. Oh my gosh. This guy hit this one. There we go.
See,
Ball of doom.
Here's the idea that just came off the top of my head.
Hit me, dog.
Put Brie Larson in the Blade universe.
Okay.
And Captain America or Captain Marvel just has no idea how to deal with vampires.
Sure.
And she's like, I don't know. And she has to team up with Blade.
Yeah,
and,
so yeah, you're
and
being,
like have a fish out of water story.
Yeah.
With her.
Something that's super unexpected.
Humanize her.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like she
and you
can fail.
Yeah. And the thing is
because these vampires are like, I don't care about
like your power. Like
your power doesn't hurt me.
Right. Or like it doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah. A death doesn't hurt me. You know? Like
yeah.
Like something
do something
more,
that's so like beyond what you would think you would see her in that you're like, oh yeah, like why would I see her? But that might be the whole, I think that's a good idea. That might be the whole point. Like if you're able to make it so beyond what you think you normally would see in Captain Marvel so Blade or anything of that like mind, right? You really could be onto something, and fans I think are willing
but
to give it give stuff like that a chance,
right?
That is like kind of out of the norm.
Yeah, but like also it's not make it her movie.
Yeah, yeah, that's fine too. Yeah,
like
that might be where she has to start, is where she's like kind of the sidekick to someone else. But that's the problem. I almost guarantee you she would never go for it.
Right.
Because I think the ego is maybe a little too big. My gosh, I did it twice. I want the bed up here. I want to make a staircase of bed. Oh my gosh!
Mike, you're really good at this game.
Yeah.
Then you do a tramp and then turn into Link.
Well, that's not the problem. It's that I only have a certain amount, and so then I keep like I keep doing this stupid thing wrong. Well, now I don't have. Oh my gosh. Okay, where is this other Zora person?
Can you not?
That's what I'm trying to do, is find the river Zora. Oh well, probably this way, silly goose. You silly goose. You're such a silly goose. All right, let's try this way. Zora Cave. That makes more sense. That makes more sense. Come on. Come on, everyone.
But I just don't see Robert Downey Jr. fixing it.
Oh, they're not gonna. I don't think they'll fix anything. It's just it'll fall. It probably will fall flat on its face, sadly enough.
If you really want a redemption arc for...
See, these are more the Zoras that you're used to.
Yes. If you really want a redemption arc for Brie Larson and Captain Marvel, put her with Deadpool.
Yeah, and let Deadpool just kind of like mock her into oblivion.
Yes.
Yeah.
And just be like, you're not anything special to me. You know? Like, and just put Deadpool on top of his game. Like,
just totally just...
Yeah, like
one after another, just totally, mind-breaking Captain Marvel. In his way, too. So it would probably be a rated R movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the end, they're friends and they can...
Yeah. And now she's humanized, and then they can start it, and then they can start her arc all over.
Right.
And she can be this thing that she was supposed to probably be the whole time.
Yes.
Ugh, I love it.
Yeah. And it's like, just make her. We don't really even want to have a human character. Just humanize her.
Yeah.
Make her a little humble.
Yeah.
Make her have flaws. Make her have strengths. Don't make a perfect person. Like,
Well, and that's why people loved Black Widow.
right.
She openly admitted that she was not perfect and that she had red all over her letter. Like, that was literally the whole point. And then, like, her and the Hulk made a lot of sense. So it's just, it could have been all these things that, like,
all these things. And then you have something where it's like, and then you have something like the first Deadpool come out, where minimal budget and just blows it out of the water.
right.
Just amazing. And, or, like Top Gun. Too.
Well, the thing is
And it's
I thought, like, the third Spider-Man, almost, that might be my favorite superhero movie of all time.
the one where
all three of them end up in it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was almost perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was so good and so, like, and, like, when you first see Tobey Maguire show up, you're just like, oh man, this got real. Like, this got so real.
And when he stopped whatever, the youngest,
the glider from getting,
and
from
how
him killing
he,
him. Yeah.
and how he out-strengthed the younger Spider-Man, like that was cool.
Yeah.
That was cool. And
when it showed,
it's fun
like,
to
the
watch.
depth of the different Spider-Man, it's like, yeah, Tobey Maguire is the stronger of those two. I don't know about the other one who is stronger, but it's like, yeah, Tobey Maguire has more experience. He's stronger. It's beautiful. Just beautiful.
Yeah.
The way that they had the middle one save what's her name?
Save
And
MJ.
yeah, like, just beautiful.
Yeah.
Just beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh my gosh. I probably love that one more than the Batman trilogy. Like, that's how good I think that movie was.
Really?
And obviously it was like, they didn't know what they had when they were first, when they first were going to make, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
Right.
They had no idea that they would turn into something like this.
No.
And good on them for having the gumption to actually try something that was so different, too.
Right. Right. Yeah, I thought that was I thought it was a very smart movie, and it was very clever, and I thought they did amazing. It's not my favorite superhero movie, but
Well, that's just because everything you think is wrong. Well, fine.
So I like, so there are two movies that I absolutely love. So The Dark Knight is more a crime drama, like a crime.
Say that
mafia.
again. Which one?
The Dark Knight with Heath Ledger.
Yeah, right.
So that's like more of a crime movie than a superhero movie, for sure.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
And
Yeah.
and the second Captain America,
Oh, the Winter Soldier.
yeah, and that's more of a spy thriller movie,
Right.
And I loved that about both of those.
Yeah.
That it was.
No, I'm with you.
It's not a superhero
I'm
movie.
with you.
It's a crime. It's like the.
You know what show is really good? The Penguin on Max.
I've heard that from like 4 people.
It's so, like, did you watch Breaking Bad?
A few times. I tried. I was like,
it's the DC version of that. So, like, Breaking Bad's super popular. Now, it's not like the same story, but it's like that quality. Like it's very, very good.
Yeah.
And I loved the Batman.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. I thought it was so different, and like I loved it. I thought that movie was really good. I know a lot of people was like not, they didn't care as much. I thought it was great. I really did. I really loved the Batman. I thought it was really a really good, neat experience. But the Penguin fits. It's well, and that's the thing. The female lead, she does such a good job. Like her story, and like how, because they eventually like go through what happened to her, and it's like, it's like Brittany had a hard time watching it, and she usually doesn't like, she, you know, those kind of shows she's not into, so she doesn't really watch shows like that. Aha! You all suck. Someone got eaten.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's Jabu Jabu, the person that they
Worship?
essentially worship.
Oh, good.
Oh, goody.
He killed down both of them. Wow, that's a great god.
Yeah, no kidding, right? but no, it's really good. Like I think you'll really like it, and because it's like, it's not like Batman hasn't shown up, so it's nothing like, it's the Penguin and how he becomes the Penguin, and like it starts him at like a lowly point. Like if you've seen the Batman, he's like, he's not the Penguin yet, like he's not what he is.
Right.
It's good.
Interesting.
I really like it.
Oh, Colin Farrell is such a good actor.
Oh, I agree.
I have never seen someone so versatile. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, he can do a really sad type person. Like, have you ever seen the Mr. Banks?
Oh yeah. Saving Mr. Banks.
Yes.
Yeah, about the Mary Poppins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how her dad was Colin Farrell. In the movie. And he did such a good job at like just being that dad that has a problem, like a big problem.
Right.
And a big addiction. And the wife just kind of just kills herself, right? Or something. Anyway,
I can't remember.
So,
yeah, it's been a while, but
anyway,
something obviously terrible happens.
Yeah, it's just a really sad story arc.
I think he dies of liver poisoning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, doesn't he? Like, doesn't he die of like cirrhosis of the liver, something like that?
Yep. So, anyway, he was very interesting, but then you have like cool Colin Farrell. Like, have you ever seen? Do you remember him in Scrubs?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Like he's
him
just
as
like
Bullseye in
the
Daredevil.
coolest
He was the
guy.
He was the best. He was the best in Daredevil.
Yeah.
Like he was way better than Ben Affleck.
Yeah. And then he brings out his. Is it Scottish or Irish?
I think he's Irish.
Yeah.
I think he's Irish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just can exude just cool. I'm cool.
No,
guy.
I agree.
And then I saw a TikTok this morning that he finished a marathon with one of his close friends that couldn't run, that had some sort of disease, and he ran the marathon with her.
Yeah, that's
like,
cool.
Did a trolley like a
like pushed it while she like that's cool.
Yeah. And he like finished with her. I thought that was so cool. Like, he's one of the coolest guys.
Yeah.
That I would love to meet.
Yeah.
And just be like you could have been. He could have been like the sex symbol that Ryan Reynolds is, right?
Oh, for sure.
But he didn't. He wasn't always that doofus superhero type. He didn't care for that.
Right.
It's so interesting.
All right, everyone. I think we're going to end it here. We appreciate all of you that were out here watching. Hopefully you got a good look into our differing ideas about Marvel and how it could continue, because both of us I loved it. I thought it was great. And I have a big affinity for those things, just like video games. Like, that's why I have very stark opinions about that as well.
I would have to go to the weekend opening. Like, I couldn't let it go for a week.
Right.
Because I'm so into YouTube and seeing all those videos and stuff. So it's like I would.
No, I agree.
Well,
we love you. Hopefully we might be doing that stream on. I think that's a great idea. And we can just be playing Pokemon Unite. And that's just because then we don't have to pay attention to this.
Right.
And then we can have it it's easy to put it in the corner and have just the results. And I don't know, maybe put on Fox News or CNN. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
And they can do all the. Right. I think that would be great. So
I think that'd be
hopefully that'll be fun. Looking forward to next week. Whoever it is that you are looking forward to having win, hopefully whoever it is just brings the country, together. Hopefully we don't have any more division and brings us back to being great. So we appreciate you guys. You're wonderful. Have a good night.
Night.